KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your beer.
Keep following the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
All right, how y'all feeling out there tonight?
To all the lovers in the world tonight.
Hey.
And I expect that to be the whole world because everybody needs someone, something to love. When it's cold outside,
Let's go.
girl, who are you holding? You be holding me.
My type of music for real, like.
This is what you would vibe to. Do you feel like the R&B that's released now, even by some of the people that we mentioned, Tank, Usher, Babyface, does it have the feeling that these type of songs had? What's missing?
Feeling. People are just singing, performing. There's no feel. Like, you can feel these songs. Like, you know that feeling you get in your chest. Like, used to call 1580. I would like to dedicate this song to my boyfriend.
See, I think that's part of the problem. We don't dedicate songs to each other anymore. There's no love
It's
in the
no
mix,
love.
even in the infatuation stages.
That's
so,
what I'm saying.
So people aren't moved to get into this type of music and dedicate it to each other and sing it to each
And
other
be in
and
love,
write your
holding
name,
hands.
all that stuff. I think that a lot of the love is missing because social media has big upped the transactional aspect of relationships.
Right.
Andy, what say you?
Piggyback off what Liz is saying, I agree. There's no love, there's no feeling behind it, but also just think, we're straight up now. We're straight to the point. There's no kind of serenading you. I'm just letting you know off the rip, this is what I want. I'm gonna give you this.
I mean, we had Johnny Taylor telling us cheaper to keep her, but it was straight to the point. It's cheaper to keep her, okay? But these guys ain't talking about nothing. They're just, like you say, and it's like,
Well, I also think that when the change happened, when men started to feel as though they were the prize, they didn't want to woo anymore. They didn't want to, come out with these feelings. And on top of that, I also think that when our sort of music icons, as far as the fandom, when it switched from being R&B singers to hip hop artists, because that's what you think. I think that hip hop artists, especially for men, they give melodies like an R&B song would be. They talk about their emotions, albeit differently, but it comes in a more aggressive form. So I feel like, that's part of the problem that romance is missing.
What artist is out right now that's romancing?
I mean, I don't know.
I'm even thinking Chris Brown almost.
What? I mean,
like some of his old music, one of his songs, he almost, but
I mean, but Chris Brown. I can't listen to those marathon albums. I think Chris Brown could do with a good A&R to kind of strip his projects down and pull out a tightly constructed 12, maybe 15 album thing, and not those 60 album length albums that you're doing for. But I wouldn't say that Chris Brown is who I would think about with romance. Tank, Jay Valentine.
Okay.
Shout out to them.
Okay. You know what? Tank. Okay. But you know what? There's no artist development as well. So that's another thing. You know what I'm saying? Now people are just doing their songs and just busting out. Like, I'm about to shoot a video right now. Come on, meet me outside in the street. So it's just different now.
It is. Leslie Holmes said, trivia question, who originally recorded that song, If You Think You're Lonely Now? Bobby Womack, girl.
That is Bobby
We
Womack.
know that.
Wasn't that Bobby Womack?
No, that version I think he was playing was KC, right?
KC,
yeah, that was definitely KC's
Oh, maybe because
version.
I didn't hear him. That was Bobby Womack.
But
when
the
it's
original
cold outside.
KC, best version.
No, KC better
And
go
we
on
are
and
the
sit there.
prize.
KC cannot get on Bobby Womack. Did
You
he
talk,
say?
you talked about passion, right?
Yeah.
I got way more passion from Casey than I did Bobby Womack. I'm sorry.
Oh,
That ooh yeah.
okay. You know what? Ooh yeah.
You wasn't getting that from Bobby.
Those
Womack.
are those
No
commission
Yes, we
disrespect.
were. We
runs.
was getting the whole what? Oh,
It was too smooth for me.
Bobby had it. Them players
Bobby
back
had
in the
some
day.
songs,
They
you
were
know,
some
they were
players back
different.
in the day.
It was a different type of conversation. But I saw someone talk about how this was on social media. One of the things about the reason why women or the music community is not getting the same type of love songs is that they said, and I thought this was an interesting point, that a lot of the songs, the ideas, the concepts that were popular in the 70s and 80s, the things that they would say would be considered toxic masculinity right now. Uh-oh, Andy coming in
oh
hot.
wow.
I was gonna say another reason why we probably not romancing.
Why?
Because if I come at you trying to romance you, you're gonna look at me as somebody who's corny.
That's not necessarily true.
I'm going to
This
say
generation,
this generation, I think
Okay.
that is a part of it, but I also think that one, we aren't taught to appreciate it as much anymore. We don't get to see it. And I think that you say that it's women, but I think women in that aspect take their clues from men. And so a lot of the men nowadays are saying, oh, you a simp. Like, to me, back in the day, it was an honor to be able to take care of your woman. It was an honor to bring her flowers. You were working hard for your boo so you could take care of you and baby boo. I'm not saying that it should be the only salary or that should be the way it is, but I think that because of sort of the changing in dynamics, men are, they don't want to be taken advantage of. So they're like, I'm not no simp. I'm not putting out. I'm not doing anything. Women are like, well, I'm not giving my best and greatest to you. The one thing that I have to offer that you can't get from anybody else. You may be able to have sex with somebody else, but you can't have sex with me.
Right.
And that is the one thing that I keep in control of. So I think everybody's a little fearful and putting up these walls so you don't get to break down and come closer. And that is reflected in the music. Nobody's stepping out.
coupled
and
with
saying,
that though, Jill.
Yes.
We are the prize as well too.
Who?
Men.
How?
How?
What you mean how?
Nuh-uh.
See,
You
that's
gotta-
the
you gotta-
problem.
Man, what
See,
you
that
mean?
is the problem right
What you-
there.
but
Here's the
what
thing,
you
men
mean, how?
I'm going to tell you, men are valuable. I'm not saying that men don't hold any value. I'm not saying that men are worthwhile and that you shouldn't be taken care of. And
We're
that
both
there
the
are not
prize
things-
then.
No.
But,
Okay.
but traditionally, you cannot bear your next you.
Really? Because you can give birth? Is that what you saying?
Yeah.
Okay, but
That's
see,
what makes you
but
the
you mean,
prize?
but you don't
Yeah.
think it's important?
That's what they say.
Well, I'm the
That's what
seed,
they
though.
always said.
I'm the
That's
seed.
Exactly.
I'm
You
just
are.
saying we need each other, so we both the prize.
Okay, you're not both the prize, and that's where the problem comes in.
I think that's the problem.
Okay, it is. I
Jill-
believe so because the men wants to be the prize.
But here's the thing, though, Jill. I think you kind of touched on it a little bit. It's a level of appreciation too. If I take you out on this ice cream date, right?
Oh, we back on the ice
I'm just
cream
saying. I'm
date.
just
That's
saying.
our good question of the night, so we are.
If I take you out on this ice cream date, for you just think your presence alone, I should like worship you on that. No, show me some appreciation of the fact that I took you out.
Okay,
See, I
see,
think
you,
that
I
it goes
think you have
both ways.
anger issues.
I don't have no anger. I'm taking.
Andy, like, I got my boo. I'm
Yeah.
locked up. I'm
Just
just
be- okay,
speaking
but
for
wait
the
a minute.
uninformed and the
Just
uninitiated.
because you're taken doesn't mean you don't have underlining issues.
I ain't got no issues.
Okay.
This
I
is
hear
what
it in
I
your
think.
voice.
This is what I think with that.
I'm riding for my fellas.
You riding for your
Okay,
guys.
right
You
for your
standing
fellas.
up for them.
But what age level? What age group is these guys? Because you know what? I think that's the issue too.
That is when I'm having a conversation, unless stated that I'm speaking differently, I'm generally talking about 35 and up. I'm not messing with what y'all doing in your 20s. That's a different time. You're supposed to have a little fun and you're figuring things out. But I do think that you get to a point where you're looking at things now and no one wants to take a step forward. Vulnerability isn't something that we kind of dig into or rest into because everyone's afraid of being taken advantage of. Nobody wants to be the one left holding the feelings bag or looking like they got played, especially now with social media, as people have a tendency to put everything on social media. And it's like, I don't understand, like, some of the girls you see randomly, like, they will say, oh, I was with him. He dogged me. He was a cheater and he never washed his butt too. So go on. Girl,
Okay,
but you were okay with that all that time.
He wasn't washing his butt when you was
Leave
with
that
him.
So I think that exactly. I just think that there is a disconnect because nobody wants to look like they got played, and everything is so very public. People are putting up an extra layer of armor that isn't necessary per se, especially if you take the time. Again, everyone thinks that they have more options. People are a little colder, so it's like, I don't want to talk on the phone with you or what, to really connect with people and kind of get to know them. Those things that you have questions about, that they come out through conversation and through getting to know people. Oh, he seems kind of cheap. We probably aren't going to work because I spend, or whatever. And I'm not saying that about myself. I'm using that as a hypothetical.
Right.
Although I do like things, but I'm fiscally responsible. I'm just saying, I think that there is a lack of communication and nobody wants to be the one to take a step in because nobody wants to look like the fool, especially publicly.
Is that what you think?
That's what I think.
No, I agree. And it also goes back to me saying social media.
Social media
has
does have
put
a big
damper
part of it.
in a lot of relationships. You go out, everybody's on their phone, they're scrolling. I'm standing next to you and we're not even having a conversation. We're both on our phones scrolling. Like, it has taken away from the real dynamic of getting to know people.
Andy, what are you going to say?
Shout out to the voice of reason, Zoe Williams. This is what he preaches all the time. We are at a stage in our lives where we don't love each other's humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's
to your vulnerability point, I mean, you're on point with that. You know what I mean? Like, people are scared to be vulnerable,
right,
to show you my real self, because if you see one negative thing, what are you going to do? Run away,
to social media.
And go to social media and find you another little situation.
And then what? Get with her and it don't work out, then what? Move on
then
again.
You just have a trail of broken hearts, and then we start the Lonely Hearts Club, and whatever happens.
Everybody's over here mad talking about everybody ain't no good. When it's a lot of men at home saying that, and women too. But come outside, it's a lot of good men out there, and it's a lot of good women out there.
Really?
It is. You have to. It really is.
I'm sure there are. Maybe just not in Los Angeles. I don't know. There's some good people around somewhere.
But the ones you probably want are probably in the house somewhere, not out here like in these streets.
Well, then that does me no good, because here's the thing. If they're at home chilling, being homebodies.
You be at home too, right?
Exactly. So how we going to meet? I mean, because
by chance. They're out here. I'm not going to say all, it's a little traumatizing out here, but it's you can make it. You can make it.
Food for Less is still popping.
I mean, you can meet people in the grocery store, but you know what
Home
I noticed?
Depot.
Let me give you an example. When I go grocery shopping, and it's not that often because I definitely have my groceries delivered, or I go pick them up because I don't want to be, I'm Bougetto. I'll take a little bit of that. Yeah. I don't feel like going in the grocery store all the time. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to push my cart around. And it also, honestly, helps me stay on budget, because if I'm ordering online, then I'm picking. But if I'm in the store, I'm like, ooh,
what's this?
I'm like a firefly. Ooh, candy over here. Ooh, is that a new
kind of stuff?
Whatever.
Yes.
But my point in that is that, I know a lot of people use online dating and stuff like that, or just even social networks to link up with people. But I think there is something to be said about organic connections and meeting face to face and having that energy, that you feed off of and you build upon it. And I think that is one thing that is missing too with these connections, because we're always on. There's always a distraction. You're not sitting up in your room like Brandy writing in your journal, listening to those musical thoughts. You're scrolling through social media as soon as you have a minute, thinking, oh, it's something wrong that I'm at home. I need to be out there doing that. And they're probably not even having fun doing that, but it looks
absolutely
good.
It's a whole image.
It's a whole thing. Well, since we're talking about relationships and dating and who's the prize, when we come forward, I am going to share who Jimmy Butler is dating. She's a pop star. It's a lot going on with it, and we're going to have a little chat like that.
Okay.
We're going to have more with Liz B. All that and more. Thank you for rocking with RSVP for all of your entertainment, sports, culture, and lifestyle updates. You are listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Trending topics and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
In our community, mental health struggles can sometimes go unnoticed. The suicide rate among Black youth has risen faster than any other ethnic group. Only 1 in 3 African Americans who need mental health care receives it. African American women are only half as likely as their Caucasian counterparts to seek professional mental health services. Even those who guide us spiritually can sometimes face their own challenges. 45% of pastors say they've experienced depression or burnout to the extent they need to take a leave of absence from ministry. As people of faith, it's time to acknowledge it's okay not to be okay. You can pray and get help. Visit normalizehelp.org for more information and resources. Join us in raising mental health awareness in our community. Funded by the Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health and the Champion Counseling Center of Faithful Central Bible Church.
Did you know if you go online to Kohl's.com right now, you can take so much off the price of your favorite Kohl's finds? I just shopped their summer cyber deals and need to talk about it. I saved on a Food Network cookware set for under $65, JBL speakers, a NutriBullet combo blender, and because I bought a cute tea, I got a second one for only $1. Plus, I earned Kohl's Cash. So hurry to Kohl's.com for the right finds at the right price right now. Select styles. Offer ends July 12th. BOGO offer ends July 13th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for education as a right, not a privilege. Charles R. Drew University of Medicine and Science is a private, non-profit, community-founded, student-centered university committed to cultivating diverse health profession leaders who are dedicated to social justice and health equity for underserved populations. CDU does this through outstanding education, clinical service, and community engagement. Recently, Charles Drew University made history by opening only the 5th medical school at an historically Black university. Congratulations, South LA, and congratulations to the Dean of the medical school, Dr. Deborah Protho-Stith. CDU is now training doctors and providing $90 million in annual economic benefit to Watts and surrounding neighborhoods. To apply for medical school, get more information, or sign your child up for the Junior Doctors Saturday School program, visit cdrewu.edu. That's cdrewu.edu. At KBLA, we are dedicated to equity in education and ending healthcare apartheid. And we don't black down. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. Thank you for rocking with RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. We're having a little relationship talk. No, this is not Zoe Williams' show, The Voice of Reason, but we're getting into a little bit of some things that he may talk about. Obviously from a different perspective, because Zoe is going to do what Zoe does. He is a legend at that, but we're just offering some different perspectives on topics that, you know, may correlate and relate to it. In the chat, T. Sworn says that most people right now don't want to spend a moment figuring things out and working through the hurt. They just want to move around. So, you know, on that note about working through the hurt and moving things around, Jimmy Butler, Miami Heat star, Big Face Coffee, big baller and things. He has been spotted out and about with a pop star, a recently divorced pop star. Most recently, they were spotted in London hanging out. They arrived at the venue separately, but of course, somebody snitched and said they were inside, cozying up, having a good time. So it is the pop star Shakira, you know, Shakira. So Shakira, that's right. Bop, bop, bop. The She-Wolf and Jimmy are supposed to be dating, having a good time. As you know, you may not know, she recently divorced her husband of 10 years. Were they married 10 years? I believe they were married 10 years. Soccer star Gerard Piqué, they split. He was accused of cheating on her. And since then, you know, Shakira and Jimmy allegedly met during the playoffs. Shakira lives in Miami. She was at a game. She was sitting courtside. you know, I guess maybe she enjoyed the view. The two ended up following each other on Instagram. Both of them only follow limited people, but they follow each other.
Okay.
There is a 15-year age difference between the two.
I heard that.
Shakira's husband was 10 years younger than her. And Shakira's also been rumored to have spent time with F1 driver Lewis Hamilton. And they were saying that she also hung out with Tom Cruise, who she said she had fun with but has no interest in dating. So, you know, seems like she's on the flavor train right now with Lewis and Jimmy. But what I do find interesting is, you know, Larsa, this happening with Jimmy and Shakira, potentially, maybe, allegedly. We have LaMelo Ball, who's dating Anna Montana, Instagram girl. That's just her Instagram name. Her name is Anna Chavez, I believe. I'm jacking it up, but she's older than him. What is going on now that a lot of, especially when we're talking about athletes, seem to be doing the opposite of what we usually see? Usually we see guys go younger, but lately a lot of these men and athletes have been, you know, aging up.
They like the stable woman.
Is it the stability that they're attracted to?
Stability, and there's something about older women that give the young women are a little bit more out popping. You know what I'm saying? The older women is more catering to the brothers, to the men. I feel.
That's what you think it is that they are giving them.
That young. How old is he? 32, and she's how old? 49.
No. 44, 45. So they're like 13 years. Shakira. And,
not Shakira.
Oh, you're talking about Larsa and Marcus.
Okay,
Larsa's 49. Marcus Jordan, Michael Jordan's son, is 32.
And how old is Shakira?
Shakira is, I think, 43, 44, and Jimmy's 32.
She looks good, though.
She sure does.
I mean, guess what? Jennifer Lopez did it. I mean, what's wrong with it? The men do it all the time. Why can't the women date younger men? They're bringing the women's livelihood back.
I don't know. People are getting, so there is a conversation that has been happening a lot lately about age gaps in grooming, and people are really, really into it. I don't really, have opinion about that. I think if people are legal, that's their business. But it is sort of interesting to me, especially with these high profile guys, that they are opting not for, I guess it is a version of the Instagram vixen that we see, but an older version. It's just curious that is suddenly becoming the in vogue thing to do. Dwayne Wade and Gabby, they have a 10-year age difference. The aunties are coming up.
But they're stable. She has a job. She has a career.
Do you think that men care about that, especially men that are rich? Do they care
Some of them
about the woman having a job? Maybe something to do to keep her out of his hair when he's busy, but do they care if she has wealth and a job?
Well, I've been thinking sometimes it's more like, oh, that's so-and-so. Men are groupies too. Men are groupies just like women are
Absolutely,
groupies.
100%.
So men plot all the time.
They want to be a power couple too. They want the Beyonce to their Jay-Z.
Period. That's it.
Or who they think.
Whatever it is. Everybody wants to be a Jay-Z and Beyonce. They don't know what they've been through, though.
Here's the thing about that.
Of it, though.
I think whether we know what they've been through or not, the idea of wanting to be a power couple together and present as, we work together, we're friends, and then maybe we can work together in business some type of way is not necessarily a bad approach to go, because
it's a good thing, actually. Kinda.
I know, Andy, if you were single, would you date an older woman or you stick to your age range? He's coming.
How are we talking?
I don't know. I'm just saying at least 10 years, because that seems to be what the average is about a couple of these. Would you date? You would?
100%.
Really? No 100%. Hesitation?
No hesitation.
Nothing. Why not, or why?
I don't know.
Don't know?
It's
hard to ask now because you're in a relationship, and I'm not trying to set you up. Much respect to Mrs. Andy.
No.
I'm just saying.
Even when I was young, I think I had this thing for older women. Although, you know, if I did date, it would always be like a 5-year gap, whether it's 5 years older or 5 years younger.
Okay.
But there were times where, you know, in my 20s, I'd look at some 40-year-olds and be like, what's popping?
Did you notice a difference? I mean, here's the thing, like, you know, a lot of times, like, you hear, or you used to hear back in the day, oh, you know, we don't, you know, it's ageless and it doesn't matter. And I learned from them and they learned from me. Did you notice a difference in the women, like, from the ones that were 5 years younger than you, from how they handle situations as opposed to the ones that were 5 years older, per se?
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. But maybe 10 years, yes. You'll definitely see a difference.
Yeah,
and I think there probably was maybe a maturity thing, a more like an embrace of just maybe who they are. They weren't afraid to do things.
Okay.
If that makes
sense. The older ones.
The older ones.
Okay.
As opposed to the younger ones. The younger ones, you got to put in a little bit more work.
Put in more work, meaning
convincing them.
Yes.
Convincing them to be adventurous.
Yeah, if you catch my drift.
Older women are a little bit more seasoned, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. They're cooking, bringing plates.
Absolutely. They with the business.
They bringing plates. Are you hungry? You need
and then
something
they
to
leave
drink,
you to
baby?
your lonely and be like, I'll holla at you.
Absolutely. That's all we want.
We don't even want to be bothered. Y'all calling
You
like,
feel me?
what?
Oh, you going
situation.
home, baby? You gonna holla at me? Okay.
I'm
going to put it down, too.
And she's like, maybe I'll buy you the Nikes that you were looking at the other day.
Much appreciation.
Old wives' tale, don't buy no men no shoes. That is
Oh
the
my
old,
God.
don't buy men
Not
shoes. Listen, so I think I've talked about it before. I used to work at Nike, right?
Okay.
And so obviously when I worked there, you know, I would get footwear. So if I was dating someone, looking out, I'd slide you some shoes, right? Take care of you, my boo. And you know, they always say, if you give a man shoes, he gonna walk away. Yeah. I kind of think there's some truth to that.
He's walking away with her with them shoes. Don't give him no shoes.
You know, like, and I think about, too, like a boyfriend I had when I was in my 20s. I would hook him up and, like, he liked sports and stuff. So, you know, I'm like, oh, that's what you like? You want some shoes? Okay, I'll get you a pair of shoes. Same thing. I'm telling you, there's some truth to that. Buy him something else.
I think what it is, too, and just in my experiences with the older women, they weren't looking for a relationship.
Sure.
And as a young gentleman coming up, I wasn't necessarily looking for a relationship either. I was trying to have fun. But, you know, the girls in my group, they're trying to, you know, be in a relationship. They want all this, that, and the third. So I think that plays a factor in it, too.
But, you know, it's funny because you say that. It's more like you kind of like older women, you fall into a relationship.
Yeah, just the routine.
It just happened.
Yep.
Then you, next thing you know, you're in a relationship. You didn't even know you was trying to be in one. It
You're
just
like,
happened.
is that my boyfriend? I think that might be my boyfriend. I think she my girlfriend. Dang, I got a drawer at her house.
I'm finding myself wanting to talk to her every day. Let me call her every 5 minutes. Like, yeah.
That's an interesting thing. I think it's an interesting phenomenon. We'll see what happens if Jimmy and Shakira are really together, and if they decide to take this relationship public. When we come forward, we're going to talk about mogul Sean Diddy, Love, Puff Daddy, whatever you call him, depending upon what decade you met him in, Combs and his latest business adventure. All that and more. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
When scared come out of your closet, it takes you all around the room. Memory felt like a ghost. Then do a time. Do baby, if you think you're
infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Black Los Angeles City Councilman Curran Price made his first court appearance in his criminal case. Curran is accused of theft by embezzlement, perjury, and conflict of interest for allegedly voting on projects involving developers who were tied to his wife's consulting firm, then keeping the connection quiet. In Columbia, Tennessee, people packed into Mount Calvary Missionary Baptist Church last night to join in prayer in response to KKK-related flyers that were left outside 3 black places of worship last Sunday. Faith leader Dr. Larry Thomas said hate has shown up before and they've always survived. A brutal heat wave continues to impact much of the southern U.S. In Death Valley, California, temperatures could potentially reach 130 degrees this weekend, which would match the highest temperature ever recorded on Earth. In El Paso and Miami, the highs have been over 100 degrees for nearly a month. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset you need to own the day. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring at your local retailer today.
Black Lives Matters turns 10, and KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to be the exclusive media partner of the People's Justice Festival. This Saturday, July 15th, 12 to 6 p.m. in Leimert Park. Come join us as we celebrate the life-saving and history-making work of Black Lives Matter to help bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice. There will be live music performances, a children's village, giveaways, vendors, a healing justice space, Skillshare, and amazing speakers including Green Party presidential candidate Dr. Cornel West live on stage at 4:30 p.m. For more information, go to blmgrassroots.org. That's www.blmgrassroots.org. Dominique DePrima and Tavis Smiley will be main stage hosts throughout the day, and the KBLA Talk 1580 delegation will be out in full force. So, join us this Saturday, July 15th, 12 to 6 p.m. at Leimert Park as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of Black Lives Matter. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
I done plant my seeds, now I'm rooted. Brown skin popping, I'm rooted. He pulled the hood out me, I'm rooted. Rooted, nappy head, rooted, rooted.
Have you heard about Lendistry? Lendistry is a national Black-led small business lender that is headquartered right here in LA. Once you've started your business, Lendistry provides flexible financing options starting at $50,000 to help you access the affordable capital needed to grow. Visit lendistry.com/KBLA to learn more.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, and downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
Want my secret for how to prep for summer getaways and get-togethers and get everything for less? Kohl's. I just went shopping and saved big on sunny day essentials like tees, tank tops, shorts, capris, swimwear, and beach towels. Because for every one I bought, I was able to get a second for only $1. Plus, I earned Kohl's Cash. So head to Kohl's and find the top styles for the lowest prices. You'll thank me later. Select styles. Offers in July 13th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Just that bounce right here.
That's the bounce.
Time to move on. Time to be strong.
So I have a really important question.
Don't stop now. Straight to the top now.
Yeah.
That's what I need.
But it's really important.
Come on. That's for you, baby. Girl, you made me believe again. If you happy, then be with him. Go ahead, mommy, breathe again. Go ahead, mommy, breathe again. Don't stop now. Straight to the top now.
So,
go ahead, mommy, make
I need
it
to know
hot
from
now.
both of you.
I need me a love that's gonna
Which
make my heart
version
stop now.
of I Need a Girl? This one or the one with Usher? Which one is your top? Usher, you know, because this is what him, Genuine, Mario Winans. The other one was him and Usher, and that was the video. It was cute. So which one is your favorite version, Andy?
I'm going with part 2.
Part 2, that one.
Yeah.
That's your.
What's part 2?
This one that he was just playing.
Right, because I don't remember the first one, so maybe.
So it's definitely this one for you. This is the first
okay,
one.
Let me hear. Hey. Come on. Because Usher is a vibe.
I need it. I want it.
I need a girl to ride. I need a girl.
I think I like this one.
I need a girl who's mine, all mine. I need a girl in my
Yo, I'm
life.
internationally known on the microphone. I got it all, but I really need a wife at home. I don't really like the zone.
Yeah, I
Never
think I like
spend the
this.
night alone. I got a few. You
Okay.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I couldn't remember. But now
I feel
hear
like,
it.
I feel like it depends on the day and the mood for me. I love them both. And I could not imagine life without one or the other because I still listen to these songs.
Oh, okay. So that's what's up.
You know, but I always like to know from people just to kind of check their vibe, a temperature check, which one you are rocking with. So we got one vote for part 2 and one vote for 1. I guess I could be the tiebreaker, but as I just said, I'm split.
I will say this, Jill. Back in the day, both of those songs were my ringtones.
Okay.
So you remember back
Different girls?
That's when I was looking for a girl.
Okay.
And that's the reason why it was my ringtone.
Okay.
Remember the singular cell phone?
Yes.
With the snake? What was it? The polyphonic type of ringtone?
Yes, the Nokia thing or what? Yes, that's what it was. The Nokia 5150. I think that was the number of it. Listen, first of all, the snake on there did take up hours of time. The battery life was crazy. It was only for an hour. You had to turn your cell phone off and stuff. Wait till after 9 to hit those minutes.
Oh my goodness!
Listen,
not after 9. Don't.
People do not understand how blessed they are with the current cell phone situation. Yes. We had to pay for long distance calls, text messages,
pay phone,
and think about this: text messages. It was still you had to go if you were trying to spell boy, you had to hit A 2 times.
Pager.
You know.
What about the pagers? The 2 ways.
1-800-SkyTel. What? Popping off. So Leslie Holmes says she's cooking with the Usher version. I Need a Girl Part 1.
Yes.
So hit us up in the chat if you have comments. You guys can still call in 800-920-1580 if you want to get that quick phone call in before the night is up. But we're going to talk about Diddy, hence the bad boy vibes that Andy just shot out for us. So Diddy is starting a new company. It is, he officially launched it. It's called Empower Global. And what it is a digital marketplace designed to uplift Black-owned businesses.
Okay.
The platform, which opened on July 12th, provides an immersive e-commerce experience. It offers products from more than 70 Black-owned brands. ePower Global aims to boost the Black economy by creating opportunities for Black entrepreneurs to grow their businesses and to get them in front of a larger audience. The company, per the company's website and their, information regarding this. The company operates with culture and community at its core. It's intending to make shopping with Black brands more accessible. It's also in collaboration with UPS. They are offering special deals and shipping rates for a limited time period, further promoting the growth and accessibility of Black-owned businesses. So, sounds very nice, right? Sounds good. A way to highlight different brands all in one place. You could go. It's broken out by, I think, men's apparel, women's apparel, jewelry, and one other category that I can't remember at the time. Okay. But what I would like to know from you is, would you, in 2023, looking back over the history of Sean, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, Love, Combs, would you go into business with Diddy at this point?
No.
Really? Not at all? Like,
I
you
mean,
wouldn't even
you know what?
consider
I
it?
don't know that track record. I would have to really dig deep, because here's the question. Do he own the company, or is he just the face of the company?
I mean, that's a great question. I mean,
am I signing over all my rights? Because, it's a lot of artists out here that's still hungry.
Well, see, this isn't artists per se. It's business. So I don't know. Like, here's the thing. It's basically, it's kind of like, in Etsy or even in Amazon, there's different shops on there. And it's just one place where you can go and there'll be many brands on there. So I don't know if they get a cut of the sales. I'm sure they do. I'm sure there's some type of split. So you wouldn't kind of enter in that, because it's hard to break through, right? Especially in social media. There's so many brands now. Everybody's an entrepreneur. And I'm not saying that in a negative way.
No.
I'm just saying the reality is, for the first time in a very, very long time, if not ever, we are, as Black people, taking more control of our destiny and trying our hand at, businesses outside of the traditional means. We're trying to move around, they're taking affirmative action from us and all of these other things. So we're trying to find ways to make it. So if you were given an opportunity to be on a platform with a person like Diddy. Now, one thing we can say about Diddy is going to market. He's going to get out there and he is going to pump it up. Take that. You would say absolutely not? It would be hard.
It would be very hard for me to give up everything that I work for to sign up with Diddy and know that there's some underlining something in there. The next thing I know, he owns my company. I just can't.
You don't trust him at all?
I don't trust a lot of things out here. Like, a lot of people, they're so hungry to get on. Like, that's what a lot of artists do. They're thirsty to get signed, and then you sign your life over, and now you're stuck in a contract. But if you just hold on and just wait it out, it'll happen.
So you believe that it'll happen, it'll come through. Do you think, or how do you think that people can gauge the point where they should, and obviously it's personal to everyone and there's a lot that goes into this, so I'm not expecting you to solve it all, but I just want to know your thought. What do you think are the signs that you look for when you make the decision, like, you know what, I've done as much as I can for this dream, I've taken it as far as I can, I need to put it to bed for now and focus on something else?
I don't think you really give up on the dream, because you can always add something to it, but you can also look for other folks to help you. Now, like when you say Diddy, looking back, even though it's an artist and his rap group, what's them singers, whatever they are, whatever his artists were, he owned their rights.
Here's the thing, except for 112. 112 actually retained their publishing. They have always maintained that they were treated beyond fairly by Diddy and Bad Boy.
Maybe because they had other folks besides Diddy, like when they came into it. Did he find 112?
I can't remember the story at this time, but I do know that they managed to hold on to their publishing.
But a lot of us entrepreneurs and people that's out there that's trying to make it, you do see someone that's out there like a Diddy that can make it happen. But is he really going to make it happen? He's just giving you a platform. That's different to sell your own products. You're still going to have to sell your product.
Yeah, you're still going to have to market it.
You're still have to market yourself. So why not just market it? Do what you're doing.
So what I will say is, not that I don't disagree per se. I mean, I would have the conversation probably. Leslie Holmes says, I 100% agree with you, Liz. Shannon Thompson is shouting out Sky Pagers, 1-800-MIX-A-LOT, 1-800-SkyTel. Please leave your message.
Yes.
Your call will be returned.
Yes.
Did you have a code for pagers? What was your code? Like when you would, page your boo?
Oh, no.
No, you didn't put no codes in. Just
we had all kind of codes. We used to spell words backwards and all kind of stuff. With
like 304.
Yes, exactly.
My code is always 1, but not because I think I'm number 1 or not because I'm trying to assert something. My birthday is the 1st, so that's just it. But nobody can take that.
Okay.
I'm glad those days are gone, man. Little bink cell phones and all of that. Listen, you have a whole computer shrunk down. If you could, we are really in the Jetsons era minus the flying cars.
They're working on it, huh? The Tesla.
This is my thing with that, right? People can't drive on the road. What are they going to do in the sky where there's no roadway, street, or any of that? When we come forward, we'll continue on this. We'll have more with Liz B. You are checking out RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
The family of Keenan Anderson is suing the city of Los Angeles for $100 million. Maisha Cairo here with your K-Black Minute News, brought to you by CaliforniaBlackMedia.org. Keenan Anderson, a high school English teacher that was visiting Los Angeles from Washington, D.C., was tragically killed at the hands of the Los Angeles Police Department in January of this year. His family, alongside civil rights and personal injury attorney Benjamin Crump and Carl Douglas, have announced a $100 million lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles. Crump and Douglas are representing Keenan Anderson's son, Sincere Anderson, and his mother, Gabrielle Hansel. The family is suing for civil rights violations, assault and battery, false imprisonment, and negligence on the part of the LAPD officers. The family of Keenan Anderson and attorneys Crump and Douglas want it to be known that this is only part of a systemic issue within the fabric of police departments everywhere.
Sometimes we lose, sometimes we win. Sometimes we try to fit it all in. Sometimes we don't know what's in store. Sometimes we find what we're looking for. Sometimes we're rolling easy and free. Sometimes 1 and 1 makes 3. So much to love along this ride. That's why Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action is the youth component of the impactful CBO, known as the Community Coalition. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action has chapters at almost every South LA high school. Say Yeah, as they are popularly known, is located at 80th and Vermont, but serves young people all over South LA. Under the COCO umbrella, they train youth organizers, help underserved scholars prepare for college, and work with students to help them gain admission to top universities. South Central Youth Empowered Through Action fosters teen activism, where young people have led campaigns moving tens of millions of dollars to South LA schools and forcing officials to make AP classes available to students in under-resourced institutions. SC scholars have taken part in the March on Washington, been published in major news outlets, and been elected to city council. Long before she was mayor, Karen Bass started the program when she founded the Community Coalition. To donate, volunteer, or enroll a student in South Central Youth Empowered Through Action, please visit cocsouthla.org. cocsouthla.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
Hey, it's Jill Munroe. Thank you for clocking in on this episode of RSVP tonight. VIPs, we have had an amazing conversation. Before we get back to Diddy and why you would or would not work with him, Liz, tell people where they can find you on social media.
You can find me at Juicebox Entertainment on YouTube, Juicebox_entertainment on Instagram, and Juicebox Entertainment on Facebook. I have a page.
So make sure you
and I have a website, juiceboxentertainment.com.
That part too, right? You can't forget that. Just go straight to the source and all the links. So make sure you're tapping in with Liz so you can, get the juice.
Exactly. Getting the juice, baby.
She squeezes it out. So shout out to Leslie Holmes in the chat. She said time flies when you are having fun, and I have had lots of fun. So shout out to you. Yes. Shout out to T Swarns for hanging with us. Shout out to Shannon. Jerry already said goodnight, and everybody else that was in the chat. We appreciate you.
Yes.
So wrapping up, your final thoughts on Diddy and working with him in 2023. We see what he's done for Carisha's career.
Well, he's also dating Carisha.
But I think that was a clout chase on his part because he wanted to get some juice off of her youthful energy. But
you're right.
It has helped her immensely.
It helped her and it helped him come back because we wasn't thinking about him until he got with Carisha.
But now it seems like he's abandoned her because he has baby love and he can use that as a photo op. That's the side. That's just a comment. But
Carisha, get all you can get, sis.
So no business, nothing whatsoever.
Well, he's probably a great businessman, but as far as signing a contract or something like that, I would definitely have to think about that real deep.
Real deep. Still don't trust Diddy.
Look at his track record. I mean, come on now. I'm not saying.
Do you think he's just? Well, here's the thing. Do you think that he's just taking a lot of flack from things that he did when he was in his 20s or what? Because if you think about it, the bad boy era at its peak, Diddy wasn't even 30. So most of this stuff is from the 90s. He didn't, he went to Howard. We know he didn't graduate. He was learning the business. And a lot of what he put forward is kind of standard as far as the music business, especially at that time period, and the contracts were offered. So I wonder, does he get a bad rap because
he's still
something being standard?
But you're still owning their publishing. Is it the Locks? Is it Mace? I mean, is it Mace? Mace offered to give you his money, and he said if you can give him what the WB give him, then yeah. And the WB, you don't know if y'all know what the WB
Warner
is.
Brothers?
No, the white boy.
Oh, okay. There it is.
So, yeah, that's what he said. So it's like, it's a few more. Craig Mack. What's the other one? Black Rob. All of these artists that was a part of Diddy's, under Diddy. I just feel like
they were left impoverished.
They was down there struggling. They was bad by the wayside. So I don't know. That kind of like
you boy.
You have to take that into accountability. Period. Okay. That's just me.
That's fair. I can understand that. Well, even still, these people have signed something with Diddy. So go check out.
Yes.
I mean, we always want to try and support Black business.
Absolutely.
Check it out. See if there's anything that appeals to you and, tap in with that. If you don't want to do it through the website, at least go and discover the brand and then go to their own website and maybe you could purchase it that way too. There's ways, and you're just using it as exposure. I'm not mad.
So maybe it's like a Shopify?
It is kind of like a Shopify or an Etsy, where it's just a marketplace where it is like all of these things are there, and he's helping giving them marketing and exposure, and obviously the benefit of being associated with Diddy.
Okay, so I mean, some people will make money.
Somebody will get it in. Let me ask you this while we're talking about him.
Okay.
What do you call him? Do you call him Diddy? Do you call him Puff? Do you call him Puffy? Do you call him Puff Daddy?
Well, I'll call him Diddy.
You call him Diddy?
Yep.
You changed over?
I'm just Diddy. He's Sean Combs, Diddy. I want him to become Sean Combs. I don't know about Love.
Because it took me he legally changed his middle name to Love. It took me so long when he changed over from Puff to Diddy, because of the Biggie stuff and all of that. It took me long to adjust to that. And then when he started adding all of these other things in there, I'm like, I can't keep up. Pick one.
He probably was going through a midlife crisis. He's getting older now.
No,
so
he's going through a midlife crisis right now. That's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
I think that Mr. Combs needs to realize that the generation, though they party and do some things, it's not quite the way that it was when he was younger. Remember back in the day, nobody would want to miss a Diddy party. Now it seems like people are like, a Diddy party.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Speaking of which, it's going to take me back to LeBron, do you think Diddy should have a seat and let his son go head on and be the rapper that he is and try to do the things that he's trying to do?
I think, here's the thing. I think that he tried to do that. I think that legitimately he wanted to hand off Bad Boy the Business to Christian, to Justin. What I think, and I guess Justin is now doing more stuff behind the scenes, but I think the problem with Christian, God bless him, I love him, I think he is too much tapped into what his dad was, and it makes it almost feel like he doesn't have an identity of his own.
Okay.
He's like a perfect carbon copy, and I don't know if that works with this era. I don't know if kids connect to, because even though the 90s is still a thing, I just don't know if they're connecting with Christian in the same type of way.
Maybe it's because it's like he looks like a little Diddy.
I think it's a redo. I think that it is just not the time and in the era and the way that it was with Diddy. I think the things that made Diddy and stand out are not in something that's natural to Christian per se. And I feel he tried, like he had a song, like he not finally, but he had a song that went, I think, that did really well on the charts. Maybe it was the end of last year. I think it was a song with Kodak Black, and it was kind of cool. And I was like, oh, okay. But my main thing with Christian is, outside of like one video, I need him to have his own identity. Like, it's okay to pay homage, but a whole redo, I don't think we need that.
But how can he have his own identity if your daddy's still up here pop blocking too? So it's kind of hard for you to.
So
he's competing with his son.
So you gonna give the Suge Knight speech if you don't want an executive all up in the video,
all up on the stage? Yeah, I mean, still dancing all up in the video. Like, seriously though.
I think that it takes a certain personality type to deal with personalities like that.
Okay.
And I think that, you have to be really big in order to stand shoulder to shoulder with somebody like Puff, just because he's going to do what he does. He doesn't know to go any other way but this beast mode, all out, extravagant, because it's what worked for him. It's what got him to where he was. And it's so interesting if you think about it. There's a period of time, especially, as his star climb started to rise, where even though he was in and of the black community, he wasn't in and of the black community. And now when he wanted to restart his stuff, he went where? To the little young ratchet girl. I know, Carisha, Young Miami. I'm just saying, he went that route. I think he tried to do it with Lori, and she was like, moved around. So he got with Carisha, and there was a little more charming.
But see, Carisha brought more to the table than Lori. Lori's cute, but Carisha had a career, and she's out there, she's popping, and it was like
she had more of a connection.
And she had that energy.
I agree. Well, we want to thank you for locking in with RSVP with Jill Munroe. Today is my version of Friday, so tomorrow night you will hear the best of. When you come forward, you will also hear the best of KBLA. Thank you for rocking with us. You are listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black